and today kind of working through things and top chat, live chat, all messages are available. I'm just checking something. Apparently everybody always says I'm left-handed when I'm right. I don't know. So let me just, yeah, I don't know where to see that, but we'll figure it out, maybe. So welcome, and I'm your host, and to start a highlight. Okay, so you can let me know if you're kicking around today. I'm kind of working on some tutorial work for a knit yoga bag. So I kind of got hooked on this thing a few days back, and kind of had to reach out to Yarn Inspirations because I didn't understand the pattern fully. So Erin got back to me and just gave me a few extra tips, which I included in the video. And so, yeah, so today I was going to do some like stitch tips kind of videos, but I decided, because I kept screwing up, that I'm not going to, and I just jumped right to a tutorial. So yeah, so Becky is first to join us. Hey-o, hey-o. And yeah, so we have, we can, you can let us know where you're from. Just remember, I am on my phone today, so I don't see huge paragraphs of novels. So just keep the comments relatively short in space so that they don't get lost. So we have Rachel, and we have Christy, and Sheila, and Chris, and Stephanie, and now I feel like Romper, Bomper, Bomper Boom. I think that's a northern US or Canadian thing. So yeah. So yeah, so I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada, as you know, and welcome aboard this wild journey. And so far so good today. The studio door is open, so the birds and the dogs are singing and stuff. So somebody's unpacking their yarn, says Christy, and near Chicago. Actually, I'm not saying Chicago right, Chicago. So somebody's knitting a cowl, and Becky says romper room big time. So you can kind of almost tell the demographics of people depending on the TV stations that you were when you were a kid. But I'm 50 years of age now. So, you know, I'm kind of getting dinosaur ages, I guess you can say. I was out yesterday and I was having dinner with Daniel, and my shirt says Sparkle Daddy. So there's a joke between us friends. And so we have Sparkle Sisters and whatever. So I said, I want to be a Sparkle Sister. So they got me a shirt that says Sparkle Daddy. And I have a point. So I was out last night and I wore my Sparkle Daddy t-shirt because I was at pottery class. And so Daniel and I grabbed a bite to eat at our local restaurant. And so the waiter thought that my shirt said Spank Daddy. So anyway, so another waiter comes over and says, can you lean back? I need to read your shirt. And he goes, it's Sparkle Daddy. So he yells across the restaurant, it's not Spank Daddy, it's Sparkle Daddy. So then it becomes this whole to-do of just laughing and having a good time, right? Because I can handle a joke. And anyway, so I said, if you really want a good time, I said, why don't you bring the brush and I'll show you how to be spanked. So anyway, so it was a great conversation, and at the end they said, who gets the bill? And I always pay, right? So I said, I do. So they said, give the bill to Spanky. So anyway, so I love the customer service around here. It's a lot of fun. So life's too short. The actual guy looks like Freddie Mercury, actually, the guy that was serving. I was like, holy cow. But he's so young, he doesn't even, his mother calls him that, but it's before his generation. So yeah, so that was kind of, yeah. But yeah, so we're in a very progressive community here where people of all lifestyles and stuff just coexist. So it's never an issue. So it's a wonderful place to live. So yeah. So anyway, so I'm just kind of working on some knitting. I know crochet crowd and me knitting is like, I know, pulling teeth. So people are reporting in where they're from today, and yeah, little Spanky and the Rascals. Oh yeah, Daniel was, if you were following my personal profile, We had a little boy hanging from a clothesline. It was an old photo that we put Daniel's face on, and he looked like Spanky from the Little Rascals. So it was kind of fun. So somebody is still at work. I'm working today too. I have a friend showing up at 4 o'clock. I closed down my yarn studio, so she put stuff up in the attic many years ago. So I'm having her come back, and because she's small, and she can get up in the attic and pass everything back down. So I got lots more stuff to give away. So I've done tons and tons and bags and bags and bags of giveaways locally here, including studio stuff like mannequins and whatever. So it was kind of wearing on me because it's been closed since COVID. And I thought, now's the time to clear the studio. So it was kind of heartbreaking in some way. Have you done stained glass squares? Glass square. No, I haven't got into stained glass. I've just been doing pottery. Stained glass, I'm not sure I'm that interested in. I'm thinking I might be into melting glass though. Does that make sense? So anyway, so I'm a very pedestrian knitter, meaning not very good, but I'm determined, right? Yeah. So we live in a very creative area here. So there's always workshops and stuff, and we're very close to a university. So the students keep our region alive and thriving, and a lot of the students come in from around the world to study here, and the cultural diversity here in the area is fabulous. I love it. So yeah. Knit and purling you're doing, I haven't seen that. I'm learning knit. Is that purling you're doing? I'm knitting, so I'm just doing the knit stitch. Yeah. Thank you for the video, Bud. Bud. I've been watching. Angelique has been watching the Bud since 2013. So Lisa says it's good to see me today. It's good to be alive today. So the studio door is open. It's nice. Daniel is like all over the place today. We've had a beehive here now for 3 years, and we think we finally have bees. So remember that here in the north, honeybees are not a natural species. They're trucked in usually. They don't survive winters very well, and if they do, it's always a mass death when it comes to it because they can't handle the cold. So honeybees are not natural to this area. So we have a lot of native bees. But anyway, some honeybees actually found the hive a few days back, and I think they're all moving their furniture in. So the U-Hauls of the bee-size U-Hauls are all showing up. So anyway, he's really quite excited about that. Yeah. So hopefully he's done this. So if you're on my personal profile on Facebook, I'll probably post some videos with him this morning because he cleaned out the hive and got it all ready for them. Did it, just got it all natural. Is it true what they say, you've been knowing how to crochet, the knitting will be easier to learn? I don't know about that, Rachel. My mom taught me knitting as a kid first, but honestly I didn't get very far because I didn't enjoy it because it's slow. So anyway, my only thing I ever made as a kid was a Barbie hammock because that's all I could handle. But I corked or spool knitted like nobody's business. I loved it. Yeah. So moving a swarm from hive to hive is fascinating. So yeah, so they just naturally found it. So he's really super excited, like super excited. So he says to me this morning, sweetie, we're gonna have honey baking for the fall, bitch. And I said, well, let's make sure they move in first. Make sure they take down the rent sign, and they're actually here to stay. So, but where they naturally gathered is not where the beehives were. So they were naturally gathering at a native hive bee. So we have I think we have 5 or 6 native bee towers here, and they were congregating around one of them. So what we did is we moved the hive right beside it, and they moved in. So yeah, how's your organic bug farm coming along? Just fine. So yeah, everything's just buzzing away, and it's still early spring here, so the leaves are still not completely formed, but they're getting close. So that's kind of what we have going on. And then we had a raccoon move into the tree behind the house. Yeah. So is that knitting, not crochet? This is knitting. I'm in between filming a knitted yoga bag, but I've been designing a crochet yoga bag. Not that I'm going to do yoga anytime soon because my body doesn't bend like that anymore, but you know. But one of the stitches was kind of painful, so I kind of was thinking to myself, God, I would rather do this than get into a downward dog pose. And certainly in the gay house, you don't want to be doing a downward dog pose because that's usually an invitation. So you want to stay upright as much as you can. So you have to do the tree pose and the rest of those poses. Yeah. And I joke, of course, but I don't know if you can handle that humor, but, and you might not even find it funny, but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of our joke around here. So I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on around here. I have a mannequin that's been in a box for like a month. I got it, I really wanted it, but I haven't even taken it out of the box because I wanted it that bad. But I feel like I got to do an emotional purchase on Amazon or something. So anyway, I decided to look up in Amazon. Have you ever tried it? Look up our emotional purchase. So you get all these like shopping bags. Like I shop so I don't kill people, and then self-help books and the whole things. And I was not looking for stuff like that. I was looking for like maybe electronics or miniatures or something. But I don't know. Yeah. What is the best way to learn to knit? I think the best way to learn to knit, Teresa, is that you go next to a wall and then you bang your head 10 times as hard as you can so that you're unconscious, and then get that thought right out of your head. But the other way to learn is just to sit down and just try it. And you got to remember that knitting and crochet is not the same. So if you're thinking, oh God, crochet is better, it's not the same journey at all. The movements are not the same. The project stretch is not the same. There's nothing the same because crochet comes from rug hooking, right? So, and knitting comes from nailing. Yeah, nailing, but not in a good way. So like from the medieval periods, and crochet is not that old. So like time-wise in comparison to nailing and knitting. But once you get on the flow, it gets much easier. So for me, just the way that I'm wrapping my needle is, my mom taught me to do this. And it was a real pain in the ass. And so the hardest thing for me was to learn how to hold the feeding hand. So it's just wrap and go. They say if you're a crocheter that you should learn continental, but I'm doing it the way my mom showed me because I want to keep a part of my mom with myself. And so I decided not to bother to learn the continental. And that's my story, and that's what I'm sticking with. So what size knitting would you recommend to start with if you're doing that? Well, I would start, honestly, the movements, probably something thick. Like seriously thick. Because once you understand the movements, then the smaller knitting needles get easier because you know what exactly to do. But anyway, we have knitting videos here on the channel if you're ever that interested in it. And we have some projects as well, but knitting is not my forte. Yeah. Thank you for the advice and the tips. So, Teresa, make sure you don't bang your head against the wall. Yeah. May I ask what stitch you are doing? I've been trying to watch what you're doing, but I can't figure it out. It's just a knit stitch in the round. So I was having trouble with this pattern, so I reached out to Yarn Inspirations to explain to me. Remember, they got customer service. Yeah. So that's kind of what we have going on. I can't get the hang of knitting. The two-handed thing confuses me. Oh, Jen Crochet, sweetie, I'm talented with one hook. So I had to call my mother and say that I'm bistitual. And she says to me, "How do you know?" And I said, "Sweetie, I'm playing with two pieces of wood instead of one." So, Wood Pigeon, Daniel's actually running for coffee now. Mikey, you're so dirty. I love it. You say what I'm thinking. Ha ha, says Gordon. Okay, there we go. Love your humor. I do yoga, but no fancy stuff. Watch me try if you want. If you want. Oh my God. Yeah. You so I have this really dirty yoga story. So anyway, so I didn't realize that. So I just went in my single days. I decided I'm gonna do this yoga with this school, right? Like after hours, like adult programming. And so I'm gonna sign up for yoga. And so there I am, and I got my cute little shorts on and stuff. And you know how you have those shorts with the built-in underwear? You know where this is going. So anyway, so we had to reach down and touch our toes, right? So at the time I could bend and do that. But anyway, I heard all this giggling behind me as I was doing it because I was at the front of the class. And I'm like, I just don't understand. So I was like, okay, well, there's obviously a joke I'm missing. And so anyway, so then we had to do this pose where you put your feet flat in front of you and then bend over. And when I bent over and looked down, I realized that I had busted the back end of my outfit. And when I looked down, something was hanging out of my shorts. And I've seen it before, so I was just like, oh shit. So anyway, so I realized the rest of that class was going to be a scenic view for some of these people. You know, when you pay to be there, you got to finish. Happy ending every time. So anyway, so that's kind of my, and then Daniel and I have done yoga together as well. Yeah. So Denise says, ew. Did I just escape prison? I think I might have. I went shopping at Value Village. And actually this is, repels the dog hair quite nicely, but I think, yeah. So anyway, so I don't mind shopping at Value Village or Thrifties or those places like that to keep my, my balanced budget here at home because spending it on groceries. Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of my thing. Wait, you stayed for the rest of the class? Of course I did. I paid for it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm cheap. And then that same year, I signed up for ballroom dancing. So my wife and I used to do ballroom dancing classes together. So I was single at this point, so they paired me up with this lady. And every time we would like be waiting, she would like massage my muscles in my arm. Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, ugh. So anyway, so I realized that she's trying to work me. I'm like, oh, sweetie, you barking up the wrong tree so bad. Yeah. So anyway, she stepped on my feet, and I gave her some criticism, and then I was no longer her little boy toy. So anyway, so that was kind of my thing. I know. But I think it was probably me screwing that up. So everybody else got a bonus, says Krista. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what we have. I think Wendy's joining us because somebody got bounced out of here. Okay, so I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's happened to. So I'm making a yoga bag, but I'm not really making it. I'm just making enough of the sample so I can teach the next step. So apparently I got to do knit, eyelet, stitch. I don't know what that means yet, but I will pass that bridge. So these knit patterns, I just go step by step. And And then when I get to something I don't understand, I just Google it. Yeah. Is Wendy the bouncer? Yes, Wendy is the only bouncer. Actually, YouTube can also bounce them too, if they're using language that is not appropriate. Their computers would just like clean the house. Hey there, nice to see you. Thank you, Star, for joining us today. Her little sprout seed is getting all watered there. Soon she'll have a leaf. Sorry, I assumed you're female. Soon you will have a leaf. Yep. So I finally got to the fun part of the project. It took me forever. You know, if you say like 45 minutes is forever, that's it, forever. Somebody says they wish you could knit. So my goal is to be able to knit my own hat before I was dead. So I went on this mission, I think, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? Some of you probably remember. So anyway, I started really learning how to knit. And honestly, I'm not that great at it, but it's fun. Yeah. Yeah. So taught herself over 40 years ago, but as of yet, I've been unable to successfully teach myself to knit. Yeah. When did you learn to crochet? I did it as a kid. Oh, Daniel's got snacks and coffee. I guess you're having a coffee break for me, with me here. I gotta tell him he's on camera before he opens his mouth. I'm live on camera.
Why are you live on camera?
Just so you know.
Here you go.
Yeah. Oh. Jay's on a coffee run to Timmy's.
Who?
Jay. Wood pigeon. Jay that was going to come here. Remember Jay?
No.
No, we were going to meet him in Halifax.
Oh.
Jay.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So what's that other bag?
Oh, I got you a little treat. So, anyways.
Oh, toasted coconut.
Toasted coconut. Your favorite.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so here we are. I know. Who's Jay? I'm a fast eater. Just shove it in and go, typical man, right? Daniel says that I have a palate of a cow. And I don't think that means it. I don't think that's a good thing. The rule is if you leave the house, you have to come back with a tea. Yeah. Our toasted coconut donuts are chocolate. Well, sometimes I think they're either chocolate or vanilla. These kids are vanilla today. They don't always have it though. Never heard of a toasted chocolate donut? It is good. Fuel with food. On to the next project. Haha. Yep. People say, well, they crochet so they stop eating. I don't know what my excuse is. Because round is a shape too. So I started a new website at the beginning of last week. We're just trying something. So our biggest obstacle is AI. And it's not in a bad way. It's just AI is changing the face of the search engine. So I started a new website and I'm testing some theories that I have because that's all you have as a small business owner is just theories. And so I'm trying to move in slowly there, but I can't do an import for the Crochet Crowd into the new website. So it's a completely different platform. So, which is a good thing, is why I looked for it. Yeah. So I think Wendy just posted the Stitch Studio. So I'm kind of focused on there a little bit, and a little bit on the Crochet Crowd, and a little bit of tutorial making. So I'm all over the place just mentally. I just want to test a theory. So what's happening with the AI for search engine? Not that you asked me. Hang on. Mikey, what's happening with the search engine? So because AI knows how to write websites, it's doing it on its own, and it knows exactly what Google's looking for the search engine. So Google is accidentally prioritizing AI websites over real creators. And I know firsthand that Google is working on solutions to be able to identify an AI website versus a real creator. And until that happens, there's an imbalance that's happening. And some of it might be actually to do with the platform. So that's why the new website is a different platform than the original Crochet Crowd. So that's my story, and I'm sticking by it. So, but I won't know unless I try. So I'm very driven that way. But as long as the patterns stay free, right? So unfortunately, the new website costs a bit of money to be able to maintain it a month. A lot more than the Crochet Crowd is. But you don't know. It's a battle that you just don't really know. So I'm thinking about taking axe throwing and then putting Google's logo on the axe board and just throw the axe as hard as I can. Like, F and fix it. Anyway, I know they're working on it though. It takes time. Round is definitely a shape. I'm 50 and sort of oblong shape now. I know. Beth, I am totally feeling that shape too. There was some idiot the other day, early 20s, and she was just treating people like crap. And I'm like, I wish I could just snap my fingers and make her 50 my age. Let's see what you look like now. Because you're only going to maintain that shape for so long. And I'm the kind of mean person that when I was in school being bullied by all these popular girls that would mistreat me, I'm like, God, I wish you would get pregnant and fat. And then you see them in their 20s when you're in your 20s and like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not alone with that though, right? So yeah. So anyway, so I didn't get fat until I met Daniel. Actually, I have to say I was fat in my early 20s, and then my wife and I did a bet of shopping spree of $500 who could lose the most weight, and so we did it. It took us a year and a half, and I lost 80 pounds, and I looked hot. So anyway, so when I started the Crochet Crowd, I was still in that relative weight level, and then I met Daniel, and that was it. So, but the stress of my job for being online is a lot more ever than any other job I've had. So I stress eat. Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of the end of that. Gravity is a thing for sure. Now, Beth, I wish gravity would affect other parts of my body. Yep. So anyway, that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking by it today. You don't seem stressed. Oh, please, sweetie. I'm so jacked up all the time. I'm even medicating now. I know. So that's helped a lot though. So I started medicating for anxiety and depression and stuff last summer. And that's helped me a lot. A lot. And I only take a half a dose of what I'm supposed to, just to take the edge off, so I'm not so triggered. But if I feel triggered, I just stay offline because I know I'm going to say something stupid. Well, more than I normally would, but yeah. So I feel, my thing is that I'm always scared of letting people down. So Jeannie's retired, so that's why you've not seen Jeannie. Jeannie retired over a year ago, February. So it's not a sensitive topic at all. But you may see designs coming out of her for everything. But right now she's moved on. She retired from her real job and kind of just went into retirement and said, you know what, I'm gonna enjoy my life. And I was kind of envious of her, to be honest with you, but I'm not even close to retiring. Not even, it's not even a glimmer. I know I'll be around for a while. So what am I knitting? I'm knitting a yoga bag that I'll never use. I'm not knitting the whole thing. I'm just knitting enough to show people how to do it. So, yeah. Retirement has its downfalls. She had the ability to retire early, which is great. I don't foresee that happening with me at all. No, just not financially, it's not feasible. Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of what we have going on around here. Just regular stuff. So I have a good job though. Like it's fun for the most part. There's some elements of my job I don't like, but for the most part I like my job. I've liked it a lot better than other jobs that I've had for sure. Will you have to frog it and save the yarn? Oh no, just the ball cost me like $3. I'm just gonna toss it. How did I start the crochet crowd? Complete fluke, Penny. Just it was an accidental thing. I was watching Oprah one day, and she says, if you know how to do something and you're willing to show somebody else how to do it, and get off the couch and do it. And I literally got off the couch instantly, and I filmed 10 videos, and that was it. And it was just, and it was never supposed to be a job. It was just something that I was just going to show other people how to do. It was just fun, and the rest is history from that point. But I was already on YouTube when she said it. So my YouTube channel was originally, this channel was originally a trucker's channel. It's because I used to be an 18-wheeler. And so I would do videos for a special needs class in New York City or New York. And so I would send the videos over, but it turns out their school had YouTube banned, but other people saw that there. Can the yarn that you purchase for the tutorials be a tax write-off? Yes, it's part of the production materials. You need the yarn in order to teach. So yes. So anyway, so that's kind of, so basically if it was the kids that got me onto YouTube. So Oprah probably wouldn't care, honestly. But I really liked her farewell show, her last show she ever did on the main stage, where she just talked throughout the whole show. I really enjoyed that last show because it was kind of summing up kind of what she did for me as a person, to be able to pull myself off out of a couch. I was really in a serious mental funk, and it just changed my life. And I didn't do it for the money. I just did it because I think we all want something in life. We just want to be acknowledged. And because I didn't know anybody that crocheted in my sphere at all, going online seemed like the right thing to do. And then I could touch base with other crocheters, and it made me feel better about my projects. Yeah. Do you have any advice on people just starting up a crochet or knitting business? My advice to you is just look at it from the long haul. If you do like stuff, shocking videos and stuff, you wear it really quick. You got to focus long haul, and the ride to get to be self-sufficient is years. So it took me 5 years of doing this before I could actually do anything like in a meaningful way, as far as like being able to afford to live. So because I had a real job other than this in the beginning. So if you're looking for the instant money, I don't think that's it's not the right genre for you. But if you're looking to inspire and hopefully it comes, and have the patience, go for it. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, my mom's voice channels through my voice and how I teach things. So Ashley is crocheting an Afghan today. So what are people actually working on? Going on. So Crochet FVP hasn't seen me in a while, but they're here today. And Darlene is just joining us this afternoon here. Yeah. So we got a cat couch going on. What did you like about being a trucker? Why didn't you like, like my father and brother both have been truckers for quite a few years. Actually, I was talking to Karen about that. The trucking years, the problem is that I internalize a lot of stuff in my brain. And because you're sitting behind a steering wheel for hours and hours and hours, like days on end, my mind just ate myself to pieces. I would come up with conspiracy theories in my brain. I was very suicidal, wanting to run into the bridges. I just felt hopeless because I was stuck behind the end of the wheel. So for myself, because I'm very active with my mind, being stuck behind a wheel, not being able to act on ideas and creativity, really tore me to pieces. So in the very final stages of my trucking, I had an emotional breakdown where I stopped on the side of the road and I called my dispatch screaming like for help. And so I had to drop my keys outside of the window of my truck onto the side of the road. And they said, sit in your truck, put your seatbelt on, and do not move. And so it took them an hour to get to me from where I was. And they literally picked me up, and they drove me straight to a hospital. And I spent several days in the psych ward because my brain was just eating me to pieces. And because I was so conscious about my body, I was only digesting about 200 calories a day because I was so worried about getting fat as a trucker. So I was so malnourished and everything. So I think the trucking world is a really tough job. I don't wish it on anybody. What freaked me out is not necessarily the truck for itself, but it's actually the drivers that don't give me the space to be able to operate a school bus, or sorry, to operate a truck, to stop safely. And it was just horrible. It was just absolutely horrible. And it is crazy lonely. And so I was telling Karen about this the other day, actually. We were talking about that. It was like, so in the mornings when I woke up, I would come up with a concept in my head, like starting a new business and what my business would be. And by the evening, my business in my brain was like fully functionable and stuff. And then I get up the next morning and come up with a different idea of a business. And and I did that in order to keep my brain busy because I was just going nuts, just stuck behind a wheel. So I need to be around people to a certain degree. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. So Shrimpy Pinky has been there. It's such a traumatic experience. And the other thing is that a lot of the shippers, so I was delivering to Home Depot and Lowe's, those people in the shipping departments just treat truckers like shit. Like honestly. So I would drive in from Ontario all the way down to Texas and get treated like shit. And I'm like, oh my God. So I realized that when I'm at these places, like you literally are treated like garbage. And so you're there on time, you've done your job, and you get greeted with absolute shit. And I thought, oh, I cannot do that. So that was kind of my thing. And what ultimately finished me before I had my nervous breakdown is that I was at the Piggly Wiggly warehouse. I believe it was in Texas. I think it was in Texas. And anyway, I was in a room with, I think, over 100 truckers, all waiting for our truckers to be, and BLM, and BLM, it says that right on my profile. I don't know what your problem is. But I sat there and all these truckers were just so sick and they were coughing and retching, overweight. And I thought, oh my God. So I looked around the room and I thought, if I stay in the trucking, this is going to be me. And these people look so sad and lonely. And I had to get out of it. I had to get out of it. It just, yeah. Texans don't like Canadians. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. So anyway, so it is what it is. So I don't know. So I think all of us are just trying to figure out how to get to the end of our lives in one piece without a lot of emotional damage. So it is what it is. And I think at the end of the day too, I'm just here to teach crochet. Like that's all I really want. Sometimes it's been really tough, and I tell Yarn Inspirations, the marketing team, and I said I just want to teach crochet. I don't want to get into all this other shit. So anyway, so if we could change the topic from Texas, that would be really helpful in this chat. So we can just let that topic just slide under the table. Because I'm not sure how true that is. But anyway, let's just put that topic in behind and yeah. So anyway, yeah. What is your favorite project to work on? I like blankets, obviously. Oh, the comments are just really flying now. Crochet is the best. Is that crochet or knitting? I'm knitting at the moment. I'm just in between video takes. So I'm doing a yoga bag that I'll never use. Yeah. Can you answer me something about knitting in the round, please? Okay, trucking isn't for everyone, but no job is. So I think some people are meant to do it. It's just I'm not one of those. Do you got any other textured projects coming up? Not on the top of my head, but that doesn't mean I won't come up with something tomorrow. So I've been trying to make this year a design year, trying to do a lot of designing. Just I'm a slow designer, that's all. So somebody got out of their comfort zone with watching the crochet. Has so many videos, just search knitting. Yeah, we have quite a few knitting tutorials here if you need that. So we have Reno coming. So Christy is coming to Reno with us. Awesome. So I have a retreat in Alaska before Reno. And there was actually another retreat here locally that I wanted to go to. I wasn't going to be a host, but it was a miniature retreat for learning to do miniatures. But unfortunately, it finishes the day before I leave for Reno. And so I decided not to attend that retreat. And it was so cheap too. But it was 4 days. And I was like, oh my God, I would have loved it. So what am I doing in Reno? We're focused on fall. We have 5 teachers and going on, and I'm on the idea of 2 projects at the moment. One of them I have to develop in my head yet. I have the basic concepts that I want to try, but I haven't got to that far yet. And as far as Alaska, I haven't decided yet. There's some new products coming out, so I want to get my hands on the products and try those. And then I have a budget of $50 per guest to spend, so I got to think about the yarns I want to bring in for people. So we'll post the clay projects as they're done. Next week is our last class, and we're doing glazing on our last class. So we did ornaments yesterday, so that was fun. So both of the retreats are full. So that's, yeah. And Alaska, we're in a lodge in the middle of nowhere. So people said, can you please squeeze me in? And I'm like, unless you're sleeping in a tent, that ain't gonna happen. So the information for our retreats, if you go on to our website, thecrochetcrowd.com, you'll see events in the top menu. And that's when you see that. But everything that we have right now is sold out. There's only 2 retreats this year, and they're both in the fall. So maybe in an igloo. So yeah, so apparently it's going to be beautiful weather. So I'm in Alaska at the beginning of September, and they said the leaves will already be changing, and so it's up an hour north of Anchorage. So I'm pretty excited about that. So Jen, we are doing an Alaskan cruise with some friends' wedding. That you should love that. So Alaska is stunning. It's a stunning place. I have never been to Anchorage though, so that's a new one for me. And then I was supposed to be in Australia this year, but that got canceled. But I told Daniel that if I ever go back to Australia for a second time, I want to take him with me. Because I think, and I'd like to go for a month. So that's kind of what we have going on. Do you have any pointers on creating your own pattern? Yes, it's all about the mathematics, Penny. It's about keeping stitch counts and the growth. So it's taken me a lot to learn to be able to do that. But what I would recommend to you is go to the Yarn Council, the Yarn Craft Council. It's online, and they will show you how to read and also write patterns, because they have resource materials that you can access. That is the standards. And so I write in the standards of the Yarn Craft Council. And the yarn companies, including publishers, all belong to the council. So everybody's kind of talking in the same language. Do you also do lives on TikTok? Just on YouTube here. I haven't done much with TikTok. I think TikTok for the US is going to go out. So I've not invested any time on TikTok. Personally wise, I don't even go on TikTok anymore. I just kind of got off the whole network. I'm not scared of TikTok, or I still have it on my phone, but I just don't use it. I find that I get a lot of filters, like people using filters to change their face, and I just don't find that fun. So it's not my vibe. And maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know why I appreciate art so much. It's beautiful, not just the drawing. Art is everything. You know, nobody can take your creativity away from you. It doesn't matter your revenue, income, or anything. Your creativity is yours and yours alone. And so your journey of creativity is your story. Okay, so Brenda enjoys the the videos. Thank you so much for that. And Darlene's not a fan of TikTok. I used to be, but I'm more on the Instagram Reels now. I'm really hooked on those Instagram Reels. Those are a bottomless pit of time. So I find I'm always sharing the Reels with my friends. So I'm just doing enough so I can demonstrate how to do this project. Have you thought about doing a collab with Complicated Knots or Skein Spider? I've not heard of either of those two, so the answer would be no. So Daniel, tonight is stitch night, so he won't be cooking. The group meets at 6 o'clock here at our Michael's, and we go to about 9 o'clock. So I'm pretty much working on this stuff, and then I'll go and sit there and crochet for a while. I need to learn how to do a cord. Are you coming back to Washington, North Carolina? No, the answer is no to that. We have no plans for that. Okay, I think I'm going to move on in the tutorial series and just teach my next steps that I need to do. Okay, knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2 together. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to finish up here, and I am going to move on in the tutorial so I can get this thing done. And that'll be it for today. We hope that you've enjoyed just the little mini today, just a mini stitch social. Now I kind of want to actually finish this project. I know, who would have thought, right? Okay, so that's it for today. We hope you enjoy, and just gonna give you a little countdown, so I'll be gone in 30 seconds. So have a great afternoon, everybody. We'll see you again another time. And we hope you have an amazing day. Amazing. And we'll see you on YouTube in the near future. Always tutorials being made, and etc. That's it, and thank you to our membership as well. Thank you so much for joining us, as well as the regular subscribers, and we hope that you have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.